WellsMania! You are now running wild with WellsMania. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most underrated wrestling podcast in the world. You are now running wild with WellsMania podcast. I am your host, the Kyle Wells, aka WellsMania. And yes, this is the co-host, the world's greatest co-host, Payton Payne, aka Stone Payne Productions. Payton, did you like that just off the top of my Hoosier Dome intro to episode 174 of WellsMania podcast?
Yeah, I'm shocked that you have a voice. We did a lot of talking this last weekend.
Barely. You can hear it. I am battling the pollen that is Indiana. There's pollen everywhere.
Yeah.
And the exhaustion. First of all, coming off of my Las Vegas trip and WrestleMania, and then going right in to Squared Circle Expo, like my body has not had an opportunity to relax, and it's letting me know. And Payton, I know I bring up my age a lot, but I'm for real telling you this. When you get to be my age, it hits you so much harder. Like, dude, I just want a day where I lay down and do absolutely nothing. And I'm going to get that this weekend. I've got no plans. So I'm going to be lazy all weekend long, and I can't fucking wait. But how are you doing, brother? How's it going?
I am fantastic. I am still recovering myself from Squared Circle Expo. You know, those conventions are fun, but my God, are they exhausting, especially for guys like us, because like we're not really just there as a fan having fun. I mean, we're working, you know, we're grinding, we're constantly putting on a show. You know what I mean? It especially like you're outgoing anyway. I'm more introverted, so I have to like put on the show. I have to go into gimmick show mode, and 2 whole days of just constantly doing that, talking to people, running around. That shit's exhausting.
Welcome to my life. Yeah,
You know?
like it is, man. And I'm proud of you, though. I'm proud of you and all the other introverts out there. Ashley, my wife, is an introvert, so I get it, dude. You would much rather be laid back to yourself, not around crowds of people, but you are capable of flipping the switch and getting right into the mix. And we will dive into Squared Circle Expo 5 because Payton and I, we absolutely had one hell of a weekend this past weekend at the Wyndham Indianapolis West in Indianapolis, Indiana. Once again, if you're still sleeping on the Squared Circle Expo, it's beyond time that you wake up, and you better be there next year at Squared Circle Expo 6. But before we dive into Squared Circle Expo, Payton, one of our brothers, just literally earlier today, went under the knife and had surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That is our brother, the 5-foot giant, Chris Ingle.
Yeah. It was kind of a crazy spur of the moment thing. Not a surgery that was planned. Unfortunately, Chris took a spill, took a tumble. He fell down his stairs going into his garage, and he broke his fibula in his leg. And I believe the surgery required 5 screws and 1 steel plate.
Damn.
So
That's serious.
He is going to be on the shelf for a while. He is going to be out of commission. But thoughts and well wishes go to the 5-foot giant. He'll come back, you know, bigger, badder, and bolder.
Yeah, as we say in Wrestle With This. Look, I'm wearing the brand new hat that I got at Squared Circle Expo. The brand new Wrestle With This logo.
The white hats went crazy, by the way. We got none of those left. Everybody wanted white.
Yeah. The white hat, man. Like, I bought the WrestleMania 41 white hat out in Vegas. I've been wearing that thing like crazy, and then you gifted me this Wrestle With This white hat. Just something about a white trucker hat that just it just fits so comfortable and so nice on your Hoosier Dome.
Yeah.
And like I said, dude, I have turned into a hat guy, and I'm going to go on brainbustertees.com and buy myself a WellsMania podcast hat. But
Yeah.
yes, I do want to send strength and love to the 5-foot giant, Chris Engel. Just literally saw Chris a day before, and then all of a sudden, I get a text message from him asking if I have bought my ticket yet to Backlash. And I told him, no, I haven't bought it yet. And then, well, here in a roundabout way, here is the fun announcement, but not fun because of how it came about. But, Chris has sold me his ticket to Backlash in St. Louis on May 10th. So, Payton, I will now be going with you to Missouri, and you and
Hmm.
I will be running wild at the Enterprise Center
Yes.
watching John Cena versus Randy Orton one last time. So, shout out to Chris Engel. You can live vicariously through Payton and myself. And I already promised Chris that I will bring him back whatever he was wanting at the show. I will bring that back for him as a get well soon present, my
Yeah.
dude. Speedy recovery. You are a Whiteland warrior. You're tough. You're a badass, and I know that you've got what it takes to overcome this road of recovery ahead of you. And if you need anything from Payton and I, we are literally one call away. But dude, I am excited
Yes.
about Backlash.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna be there Friday night and Saturday night. So if you see us running around, they haven't announced a superstore yet. I imagine that there will be one. Because usually for big events like this, they have something. I mean, they had one for Fastlane here in Indianapolis, so I'm sure there'll be some sort of store. But we will be there Friday night and Saturday night. Going to be running wild. It is going to be a good time. And Orton Cena one last time. I mean, like I've told you, this is my mania.
Yeah.
So, uh, and we all know you wanted that match.
Yes, I
So
did.
it's fitting that you're going to get to be there live to see it. I am stoked. I've been to St. Louis one time. It was many, many years ago. I don't really remember it all too well. So, I know you mentioned going and seeing the Arch. I would like to do that. I believe the hotel we're staying at, we're literally 2 minutes from it. It's right
Oh,
across the street.
perfect. Perfect.
So, yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
I have never been to St. Louis. My dad tried to get me to go to Six Flags, which I believe is in St. Louis, or it used to be in St. Louis,
Hmm.
like back in the 90s, but I didn't want to go. So he ended up going with a couple of other friends of his and their kids, but I didn't want to go. And that was the only time that I've ever been asked to go to St. Louis.
Who
So
turns down a theme park visit?
I don't know, man. I was a kid. I probably wasn't in a good mood when he asked me. And, I was probably rebelling and just didn't want to go. But I'm going now. I'm going now all these years later. So I'm definitely looking forward to going to the Arch with you. I think that'll be pretty good content
Hmm.
for us to create. Running wild on the Arch. That'll be a sight to see.
Now you can go up into the Arch. Did you know
Oh, we,
this?
we got to. We got to.
I, I'm not a big fan of heights, but I I might be able to do it.
Oh, dude. I didn't tell you. When Ashley and I went to the Grand Canyon, we went out on the skywalk, and
Yeah.
it's this last loop that hangs over the canyon.
Hmm.
And when you look down, you see everything. And in
Mm.
my mind, I'm thinking, could you just imagine if this skywalk were to give out and just went crashing down into the canyon? Like, those are the thoughts that obviously go through your head when you're up that high. You're like, God, what if I fell?
Yeah.
But I don't mind. I don't mind being up high. Not as high as like RVD or Matt Riddle, but I think it'd be pretty cool if you and I went in the Arch and did some content up there. I think that'd get a lot of views. So that's definitely something to look forward to. And yes, like Payton said, if you see us running wild in St. Louis, you can find me in St. Louis. Do not hesitate to come up to us and say hi because, dude, this past weekend at Squared Circle Expo 5, did you and I not feel like we were big deals?
Oh, it was crazy. We we felt important. I'll just put it that way. I mean, we both
Very
got
important.
some amazing content, met some awesome people, made some really good connections. It was a blast.
Yeah, and I've got a list here, and I'm sure you'll shout out some people too. But I just wanted to take this time here on episode 174 of WellsMania podcast. And if I miss any of you, I apologize. There were a lot of people who came up to me at Squared Circle Expo and seriously made me feel like a big deal, made me feel like I was Chris Van Vliet. That's what it felt like. But I just want to start out from the very top. Our dude Dakota from Split the Difference podcast. How
Yeah.
great was that guy?
Yeah, Dakota's awesome. Split the Difference is fantastic. They were blowing me up all week heading into the expo, wanting to do content with us. Definitely go check out their podcast. That they're cool guys.
Yeah, and a couple of up and coming podcasts, the People's Podcast, ILW Podcast. The thing that I love the most, and this is how I know that I'm making an impact in people's lives, is when people come up to me and they thank me for inspiring them.
Hmm.
And dude, it will never get old when somebody comes up to you and says, "Thank you for your energy, thank you for your passion, thank you for inspiring me. I want to be where you are one day," which is funny because I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And I know you feel the same way, Payton, but those dudes at the People's Podcast and ILW Podcast, they kept picking my brain and they kept asking a lot of questions and they kept saying, sorry to bother you. You're not bothering me. I have nothing but time for you. And
Yeah.
I will help you out in any way that I can. I will, guide you in the direction that you need to be guided. I will never lead people in the wrong direction because I want us all to thrive in this business. You and I aren't gatekeepers.
No.
You and I are not like some of the other wrestling content creators that want it all for themselves. Nah. We want to see everybody thrive on the level that we are and more. So,
Yeah.
Payton, if anybody out there is watching right now that didn't get a chance to come pick your brain, what advice would you give them if they're just starting out as a podcast host or a wrestling content creator? What advice would you give somebody that might be listening or watching right now?
Man, any content is good content. You don't ever turn down an idea, or don't ever say, oh, like that won't work, and so I'm not going to do it. You have nothing to lose. There's an old saying, any publicity is good publicity. Just throw everything at the wall and hope that it sticks no matter what it is, because like you and I, are we getting there? Yeah, but we're still infants in this stage of wrestling content creators. We're still trying to find our footing. We're finding it, but we're still building. And there's people that are now even, starting out lower than us that are trying to just get to our level. Just content, content, content. No matter what the idea is, run with it. And you're going to have haters. You're going to have people that are going to tell you to stop, that you're not good, that your content sucks, and ignore them. Be humble, be kind, but don't be afraid to look at those people and, in the words of the final boss, tell them off is the direction you can fuck. Because at the end of the day, it's all about you and the impact you make on the people that actually do support you.
I like that. I like that a lot. That is well said. And to add to that, this is what I told them. I said consistency is key.
Yes. Every
Consistency
day.
every day, brainstorm ideas. Like there are so many ideas that are running wild throughout my Hoosier Dome, literally throughout the day when I'm at work or when I'm with my wife or when I'm in the gym. Seriously, the creative juices,
It never stops.
they never stop flowing.
No.
And when you give yourself the opportunity to then take that idea and put it in video and
Hmm.
just be you, oh my god, you would be amazed how many people are going to check it out and they're going to like what you have to say to the camera.
Yeah.
Now, not all people are going to like it, but those that do like what you're saying are going to grab on to you, and then before you know it, your follower count is skyrocketing, because
Yeah.
that's what's happened with you and I, man.
I
Like
mean,
it's
who,
crazy how much our TikToks have blown up. Now we're not quite on the level of blow up like tag team twinning,
no,
but
no.
we're there, we're getting
We're
there.
we're grinding a little bit more than them. You know, and that's because they have a rocket strapped to their back, and I am so proud of them because they're amazing and they deliver some fantastic content. We don't necessarily have a rocket. You know, we're kind of hand climbing Mount Everest, but eventually we'll make it to the top.
You're damn right. And then we'll plant our flag right up there.
Yes.
Or hell, you and I will stand up there and we'll just be waving it around and yelling
Yeah.
for the whole
But
world to hear us.
you know, even like who'd have thought even a year ago that between the two of us, we'd have almost 15,000 followers between the
Yeah.
both of us on TikTok. You know, that's crazy. You over WrestleMania, you hit 7K. I'm at like 6,500, so I'm almost to 7K. I mean, we're getting there. I have no doubt, you know, bold prediction here. I think at our rate, by the end of the year, both of us will be at 10,000 followers.
Oh, without a doubt. Hopefully by the summer.
Yeah.
Like by SummerSlam, I hope on the rate that you and I are going, we should hit that 10K hopefully by SummerSlam, especially with all the great content that you and I are putting out. And now we're
Yeah.
going to St. Louis for Backlash in May. That'll help the followers, like you said, grab on to the ladder and help us climb, because it's a team effort. It's a team
Yeah.
effort, and that's what I told the guys from the People's Podcast and ILW podcast is, don't be deterred by how many views you think your content should be getting, because that doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
What matters is there are people watching, and those are the people that you are making the content for. Is
And go ahead. I was gonna say real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
The you never know what video is going to stick.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you could have this idea that you think, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever come up with," and you could put so much effort into the video, and I hate to break it to you, that video may not make it out of the 200 view jail. You know,
Right.
and then you could do something that is just ridiculous. You know, that you is a random video that you really don't put a lot of effort into. Like for instance, I made a video uh about the Hulk Hogan thing, who was the third man, that video, and I messaged you and I said, "Man, TikTok keeps flagging it for some reason." Well, I appealed it, and the appeal actually went through.
Wow.
They took the
Look at
ban
that.
away. Shocking.
Very.
And that video, it's less than 60 seconds, and it's just me giving my opinion on that one promo. It's almost at 40,000 views.
Wow.
It's and you never know what
Yeah.
is going to go viral and what is not going. So never stop yourself from making a video because you think it's either stupid or not going to do anything.
Post the content and do it consistently, because like Payton said, you never know
No.
what videos are going to hit lightning in a bottle. The one that I always laugh at is the one where Ashley and I are in the hallway and I go, "Let me talk to you." And she goes, "Shut the hell up." And then I go, "Yeah." Had no idea that would go over 100,000
Yeah.
plays. That is my most viewed TikTok video. And it was just something so simple. But that's how it is, man, is you just never know what is going to take off. But the only way you will know is if you put the content out there and you give TikTok a reason to push it into the algorithm.
Yeah. I will
Um,
say, I did, and this goes for both of us real quick, and then we can move on. I did have some people come up and were like, "Hey, would you ever consider like coming on and doing an interview for on my podcast or doing something?" And I'm like, "Yes." We have no problem doing that.
yeah,
That's cross promotion. That helps us in return. If helping you also helps me, we're both down for it.
yeah,
There are people, like you said, I'm not going to mention names. There are people in the wrestling community that don't like to do that, or that you feel, like, you might, if you feel uncomfortable asking them because they just give off the vibe that they're not going to want to do it, it's probably because they're not going to do it. We never want to give off that vibe. So
right.
if you want us on your show, if you want to cross promote in any way, shape, or form, we are more than willing to do it.
Yeah, and I love when other wrestling podcast hosts reach out to me. As a matter of fact, after recording last week's episode, I jumped on Between Two Beards with JPJ and Pluggo. I was on their show for 2 hours just shooting the shit about.
Still waiting on that invite, by the way.
I'll get you there. I'll get you there. I'll make sure. I'll be like, listen, okay, guys, I've been on your show multiple times now, but I need my tag team partner. I need my co-host to come on here and run wild with me. So the next time y'all want me on, it's a package deal. Does that sound good to you, Payton?
Whatever, because they've said multiple. Yeah, we'll have you on. It's like, all right, well, let's make it
Well,
happen then.
they will then, because they always tell me I'm more than welcome to come back. I'm a reoccurring guest now on their show, so we will make that happen. But just real quick to run through the rest of my list here. Shout out to Red Velvet and Uncle Lump from the Diner podcast. We shared a hallway with the Diner podcast and Signal
Mm-hmm.
10 Wrestling down in Brazil, Indiana. And Peyton, guess what?
Hmm.
Signal 10 reached out to yours truly and has booked Mega Mondo for their Ultimate Rumble in June 28th, down in Brazil, Indiana, at the Clay County 4-H Fairgrounds. Mega Mondo will be a participant in the Ultimate Rumble at Signal 10 Wrestling. So, dude, I just met those guys this past weekend. They must have been very impressed with my promo of myself, and they booked me. So I'm looking forward to that show. I'll have more details once they come to me. A bunch of marks. Shout out to a bunch of marks. The DWO podcast, XLJ, the OG, Wheezy Blonde, Alex, Queen of the Ring, and Chris Van Vliet. Those are just some of the podcast hosts and wrestling content creators that we ran into. Now, speaking of Wheezy Blonde, she DM'd me. She said, I am so sorry. This past weekend was chaos. It was busy. I owe you a collab or a future appearance on your podcast. So she didn't forget about us, Peyton, because you and I
She
tried.
was like, where's Waldo
Yeah,
this last weekend?
we tried tracking her down, and man, she was hard to find.
Yeah. I was like, where in all my lives, every live I went on, everybody's like, find Wheezy Blonde. We want to see Wheezy Blonde on camera. I'm like, I'm looking.
Yeah,
She's nowhere to be found. There's only like 4 rooms in this place, and she's not in any of them.
yeah, but she did say that she wasn't avoiding us. She was just super busy, and she was, every time I did see her, she was on the go. And but she will be coming on a future episode of WellsMania podcast, so we are looking forward to that. Yes,
Now,
Peyton.
we did both get interviews with probably the GOAT of the content wrestling world. We did both get interviews with Mr. Van Vliet, Chris Van Vliet, you know. And I say the GOAT because let's be real, he is the GOAT in this community. He is
Oh
what we
yeah.
all strive. We all want to be him. We all strive to be CVV. And
He's
I only
top
got
tier.
and I only have good things to say about him. The man is so humble, so nice. You
And he gives
know,
you the time of day.
he gives you the time of day. He gave me some great advice this past weekend. So shout out to him. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me and to do a video with me, you know, and he did a video with you as well. So yeah, shout out to CVV.
Yeah, I love running into CVV. I have seen him more over the past year than I ever have before. Like I literally like I gravitate towards CVV, and I said that in my interview. It's like I don't know how you feel, but I love running into you. I don't know if the feeling is mutual, you running into me, but he said it was, and he always enjoys my energy and my delivery and style because I am very unique in this world of pro wrestling. There are not a lot of people built like me out in this industry, which definitely separates me from literally everybody else. And you've got your own unique take, and you separate yourself from everybody else as well. And it's just amazing because you and I, our styles, they work so well together.
Mm-hmm.
However, one of the things that I kept getting was, man, you guys like hate each other. And I'm like, we don't hate each other. It's a part of the bit.
Shh, we got to keep kayfabe alive.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. We do.
We can't
Moving on.
we can't be like The Rock and just spill everything on Pat McAfee for
Oh,
no reason.
I still feel like that's a work.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't. When it comes to The Rock, I don't know what's a work and what isn't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Now
blurs the lines.
I will say, and this is very quick. I don't want to take a lot of time on this, but I am a big advocate of the old school way of thinking. I like to keep kayfabe alive. I like to separate things, and I do feel like we're entering a day and age when it comes to wrestling because I'm sure you've seen the new WWE show coming out. What is it called? It's called like Unsealed or something. Have you seen that where it literally goes behind the scenes into the writing room
Yes.
and stuff? And like that's cool and all, but I like to go to a magic show and not know how the magic trick works. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I like to still kind of keep kayfabe alive, and I feel like we're entering a day and age in pro wrestling where the curtain has been pulled back a little too much in the land of Oz.
I think once The Undertaker broke kayfabe, that was it. The Undertaker was like the last like living wrestler who came from that old school protect kayfabe, live the gimmick, can't be seen with your enemies.
Yeah,
And once he retired after almost what 40 years of wrestling, I think that was when kayfabe officially was RIP, so to speak, to put it in dead man terms.
yeah,
And you and I, we are local pro wrestlers here in the state of Indiana. I break K. I try so hard to keep Mega Mondo and WellsMania separate. They are two separate characters. However, I have to break kayfabe because of how much I look like Mega Mondo. Literally,
yeah.
I had some lady earlier to remember those two ladies that came up to the wrestle with this table.
Yes, I do.
Was it Lori and Glinda? I think were their
I don't.
names.
I never got their names, but I know you're talking about.
Well, I saw Glinda earlier today at Walmart in Brownsburg while I was working, and she goes, "Oh my God, it's Mega Mondo!" And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I am not Mega Mondo, but if people recognize me out in public as
Yeah.
Mega Mondo, I have no choice but to break kayfabe. And it sucks because I can't talk like Mega Mondo all the time because it just takes a toll on my vocal cords. I
Hmm.
tried, man, at the very beginning of all this, like those first couple years, I did a really good job of never mentioning that WellsMania am Mega Mondo, but yeah, it was really cool being recognized earlier as Mega Mondo, and I get recognized. Sam Thompson has called me like the three faces of Foley. I'm the three faces of Wells. You've got TKW, who I am personally day to day, and then when I do Wells Mania podcast and talk about wrestling and the content, I go into Wells Mania mode. But then when I'm wrestling, I'm Mega Mondo. So
Yeah.
many people from this avenue, and that avenue. It's hard telling who I'm going to get recognized by somebody out in the wild.
Yeah. Oh, you and I have the rare ability, I like to keep now, obviously, Stone Payne, the more gimmicked version, we were same name. So that one is kind of out there now. The other characters I play, I still like to keep some kayfabe alive, but you and I have the very rare ability to be able to transform into multiple personas. Like I play four different characters in the wrestling community, so
Yeah, yeah,
and
that's
they're
true.
all completely different. They all talk different, they all sound different, they all act different. I have to be able to shift my mind. So, Mick, we are both very Mick Foley-esque in that
Yeah,
regard.
and he was there. Mick Foley was
He
there at Square
was.
Circle Expo.
He was.
Uh, Payton, who were some of the wrestlers that you ended up meeting? Did you do autographs? Did you do the pictures? I know you interviewed a couple or
Yeah.
had a couple wrestlers crash your TikTok lives.
So I did, we'll start with the who I paid to meet. So I did get a couple autographs. Mick Foley, I did actually get Mick. I have an old Mankind lunchbox that I wanted signed.
That's right.
So
I did see that. That looked pretty cool.
yeah, so he signed that for me. And then I did get to meet my man Akeem, the one man gang. And I had last year at the expo, I bought this really cool painted rock that was painted like Akeem. And I went up and I had him sign it, and he popped for that so hard. His legit words were, "This is the coolest fucking thing I have ever seen."
I love
So
that.
he signed that for me. Um, as far as pictures go, uh, I met my man Gender. Don't hinder the gender. Um, I wanted to get an interview with him that on Saturday because I wanted to get his opinions on him working the Black Label Pro show the night before, but then he ended up not being there on Saturday. I thought he was a 2-day participant, but that was not the case. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was awesome. That was my first time meeting Kurt. He was really cool.
Oh, it's
Uh,
true. It's damn true.
yeah, I met JR.
Oh boy.
But that
You want to talk about the your picture with good old JR?
JR was in a whole nother fucking dimension. I don't know what was going on. Like, he wasn't talking to anybody. He just had a glazed look on his face. Like, when I went up to him, there was like 3 or 4 people in front of me. He didn't talk to any of them. When I went up to him, I was like, "It's nice to meet you." He didn't respond to me. And then I bent down to take the picture with him. And then he didn't even look at the camera. So I had to like go in my live photos. You know how like they do like lot where it's like a 2-second picture. And I had to like
Yeah.
scroll through and like find like maybe like a millisecond where his pupils like did look at the camera to get like a decent photo. And
Wow.
luckily I did get that. Um, so that was disappointing because he was probably like the top of my list of people I wanted to meet. And I don't know what was going on. I don't know if that's his attitude all the time or if he was just not feeling well or if he was in a bad mood. But there were some people that were like, oh, well, it's because he has health issues. And I'm like, I get that. But the man also still runs a weekly podcast where he talks for like an hour and a half, and does a
And he
podcast.
was on AEW still doing commentary. I
Yeah.
don't know if he still is anymore, but
So he's not like an invalid. He still talks,
yeah,
So like he still can communicate. So I don't know. It's still cool to have my picture with him because he was the voice of my childhood. But I will say the encounter with him was very disappointing. As far as people I interviewed, that's the thing. James Ellsworth, I got an interview with him.
yeah,
That one was fun because it got a little heated, and I thrive in those moments where it kind of turns into a gimmick, like a shoot. So
right.
that one was fun. Highlight of the weekend for me. Obviously, I got the interview with CVV. That was fun. Highlight of the weekend though. This is my Eric Bischoff moment that you had last year.
Okay,
Is just doing a live, walking around. I had probably 150 people watching me. And then Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Anderson, whatever you want to call him now, just stops me, hand on shoulder, takes the phone, looks into it. And then I'm just like, you got to do it. And then on live just does the Mr. and then hands the phone back and walks away. I was like, that was fucking awesome.
huge pop
So,
for that. I liked Kennedy back in
yeah.
the WWF days.
So, that was really cool. Everybody popped for it. That was probably the highlight of the weekend for me. It's the spur of the moment stuff. Like
Right,
you had no idea Bischoff was going to crash you last year. I had
none whatsoever.
no idea Mr. Kennedy was going to crash my stream. So that one was really fun.
Yeah, the spontaneous cameos are always the best because it's like, oh God, you don't know what they're gonna say, you don't know what they're gonna do, but here it is.
Yeah.
Let's go viral.
Speaking of crashing, you and I did host the costume contest that was
Yes.
crashed by Frank the Clown.
Yeah. That. So first
Man,
of
that was
all,
that was an experience, wasn't it? That costume contest.
it sure was. And shout out to Ed Gonzalez who reached out to me to say, "Hey, would you be interested in hosting?" And then I'm like, "Yes. Can I bring a co-host?" And he goes, "Yeah, you can bring whoever you want." And initially, I reached out to you, but
Yeah.
because of how busy you were, you said you couldn't do it. So then
I gave a counter offer.
the counter offer was Dodge Obencrust, and I think Dodge was a big hit with the
He
crowd.
was, man. People loved the Dodge. I mean, how do you not love the Dodge?
He's a legend. He's a
You
legend.
know,
The voice of Wrestle with This.
uh, that was, man, it got heated on that stage.
It did. And you and I know how to work a crowd. And I
Yeah,
will say that crowd was very hot for the
it
whole
was.
contest.
It was. And
They were loud, they were rowdy, they were booing, they were cheering, they were yelling this and yelling that. They were getting involved,
yeah,
which
well,
always makes it easier for a host when the crowd is alive and
yeah.
thriving.
Yes. Well, when we got on stage, I thought, okay, we need one moment to spark this crowd. We need one moment to let them know, like, hey, this is not just going to be some fashion show where people come up and, okay, here's your winners. So when I was up there, I was like, what can I do? And I was like, what is everybody talking about? What would really get the crowd going? Like, oh, we need to pay attention to this because this might get crazy. So we needed some judges for the show. And unfortunately, all the judges we had picked didn't come. They
Yeah.
they they
Carson
know
Drake,
they didn't show. So
Jack Vaughn.
you set me up perfectly for it. You go, well, the judges we pick are not here. And then I thought this is the opportunity to get this crowd hyped. I was like, yeah, they no call, no showed like Zilla Fatu. And that place fucking erupted.
Yeah,
And from
because at
that
the
moment,
moment, we we didn't know what was going on with Zilla. We now
No.
know it was a big miscommunication, but yeah,
Yeah, but
go
at
ahead.
the time, and dude, from that moment forward, the entire atmosphere of that show shifted. And then the people on the stage started cutting promos. Frank the Clown showed up. He got hit by a child. It was off the walls.
Yeah, and we had some friends out in the crowd who took video, and I just got bombarded with it late last night. I haven't had a chance to go in and like upload clips, but I will. I had so many people reach out to me on social media or come up to me after the show and just said how phenomenal of a job that we did.
Yes.
And Payton, I haven't told you this, but Ed Gonzalez asked me if I wanted to host it again next year. He goes, dude, you did such a great job. People seem to really love when you are attached to something. So let's have you run it back next year. So I gotta throw this out there in advance. So that way I can get you before you get busy. Do you, Stone Payne Productions, do you want to co-host Squared Circle Expo 6 costume contest with me?
Yeah. I think I can probably make that work.
No offense to Dodge, but
Yeah. I think I
you
can
had
probably pull it off.
you were my first pick last or this year, and you're my first pick next year. So, and then also I think heading into now that we have a better idea of what to expect, because really, man, we flew into that thing blind,
Yeah,
but we're great ad libbers, we're
we
great
are.
showmen, we're great entertainers. Like I said, you give us 2 live mics and get us in front of a live crowd, we're gonna do the damn thing and get you involved and entertained. And that crowd, man, because
Uh,
we only had a 30-minute time slot, but we electrified that entire 30 minutes that we were given.
yeah. I next year, we will be holding the mics full time.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again. Like, so I decided to go line everybody up on the stage, and then I went one by one and said, introduce who you are and cut a promo. And I let them the mic. So many of these people are untrained and don't know how to hold on to a microphone. Everybody thinks that they'll get their point across after their promo if they drop the mic on the stage. Will Ospreay, I'm looking at you, the kid that was playing Will Ospreay. That kid broke the microphone.
Yeah,
He broke the mic and pissed off Lindsay, who was the sound tech girl that was very upset about that microphone being broken. But the winners of the contest, we had the Nature Boy Ric Flair. That guy was great.
mm-hmm.
That dude, seriously, he took the Ric Flair gimmick, lived it for 30 minutes, and was just up and down. That's like he was all over the place. I thought that was a good representation of the Nature Boy. And then so in the adult division, we had 2 winners, Ric Flair and the guy that was playing, I think he was a kid. I don't know. Everyone's a kid to me because I'm so old. But the guy that was playing Dirty Dom, that dude was like a spitting image of
Yeah,
Dominic Mysterio.
yeah. He was good. He was good. Both of them did great. And then on the kid side, the kid who did play Will Ospreay, he won. And then the standout to me was the little kid playing Orange Cassidy.
Oh
That
yeah.
that kid was phenomenal. The kid that punched Frank the Clown. Um, so hopefully we got some people coming back next year that do it again. But yes, I'd love to host it again next year because I had a blast doing it.
Yeah, man, that was one of the highlights of the weekend. And yes, shout out to friend of the WellsMania podcast, Frank the Clown, for he's so damn good.
Yeah.
Frank the Clown is
Well,
so damn good.
because earlier in the day, I went up to him and I was talking and I was thinking, I was like, what can we do? So I just threw the idea out there at him. I was like, hey man, would you want to crash the costume contest tonight. And he was like, well, what time is it? I'm like, 5:15. He's like, yeah, I think I can do that. So I'm like, okay, awesome. So I go tell you, I'm like, hey, Frank's going to crash the contest later. It's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be great. Well, then we get to the contest and people on stage start cutting promos on Frank the Clown. And I'm
which was
sitting there
unexpected.
thinking, like, how did this happen? Like,
It was just
I
meant to
work
be.
like I went to Frank in private and worked this out, and now people up here are calling him out. It's like, did Frank go up to people in gimmick and be like, hey, call me out? Like, I don't know how that happened, but the timing of it was crazy.
I'll tell you how it happened. Frank the Clown is over. He
Yeah.
is over. He is hated by many, loved by few. We are the few that love him.
Yeah.
It just all worked very well. So thank you again to everybody who participated in the costume contest, and thank you to everybody who was in that amazing crowd. And let's do it all again next year. Now, Payton, the highlight of the weekend for me was my interview with WWE legend Layla, because
Oh God, here we
you
go.
you and everybody else kept, busting my balls, saying, oh dude, she's not gonna remember you, she has no idea who you are. But the thing is, as soon as, and you were right there, and you can't deny it because it literally played out right in front of your eyes. And Jared, the WWE Human Encyclopedia, he was right there too. She spotted me in line while she was talking to somebody else, and like pointed over at me, smiled really big, and started like paying attention to me while the person that she was talking to was still talking to her. So she recognized me while I was standing in line. It was kind of like deja vu, because the story that Jared and I told, how we were the last in her line at Fan Access down in Miami, she pointed at me, she did it again. I was like, oh my God, I'm having some deja vu here. So then we get up to her table, and she goes, I told her, I said, these guys don't think you remember me, but do you remember me? And she goes, of course I remember you. We had a WrestleMania moment. Our picture was on the Tron. And I was like,
I'd never do that
see,
accent again.
see, guys, I told you she remembered me. And then I showed her the picture, this picture right here, for all the people that are watching on YouTube. She signed this, and her and I recreated that picture all these years later. But the fact that she remembered who I was, it just blows my mind. So you never know what kind of impact you're going to leave, not just on people in general, but on the wrestlers in general. So I thought that was really cool that Layla remembered her and I's WrestleMania 28 moment. And it was nice catching up with her and getting an updated picture. She hasn't aged a day, but yours truly definitely does not look the same as I did back in 2012. Um, Another interview that I got that was really cool was my interview with WWE Hall of Famer Jacqueline. She called out Charlotte Flair, Payton. She called out Charlotte Flair. So her and I both looked in the camera, and we told the game, Triple H, to go ahead and book it. Maybe at Evolution 2. Who knows? But I would love to see Jacqueline versus Charlotte Flair.
Well,
That is a dream match right there.
Jackie will have to win a world title because Charlotte only comes back and competes for world championships.
I think Miss Jackie can do that. She's won them before in the past. So why not have her come back and win another one? Why not? Some other wrestlers that I went up to and met and got my pictures taken with them, and got autographs. Gene Schnitsky. A lot of people on TikTok live say I look like Schnitsky. Am I pronouncing it right? I always feel like I'm
Yeah,
saying it wrong.
I say Snitsky,
Schnitsky,
whatever.
Snitsky, Schnitsky.
Man, he's got a
Um,
beard, doesn't he?
he does. His beard is very long. And I told my wife, I said, hey, if I grow my beard out in about 20 years, That's what I'm going to look like.
You should
But
do it.
not as tall as him.
Yeah.
But my goodness, when we were standing next to each other, it was like looking into the future, and I'm sure he was like looking into the past. It's like, damn, we do look a lot alike. It was kind of uncanny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll see. We'll see. The beard can get pretty long. I've gotten it down to the middle of my chest before, but
Just
his
keep
was
growing
like
it.
all the way down to like his waist. It was nuts. Um, Enzo, bada boom, realest guy in the room. How you doing? Went up to Enzo and I just got a little personal with him because I told him, I said, I don't think you realize how big of an inspiration you are, especially to me, because I've been a pro wrestler for 7 years. And when I was coming up with my character, Megamondo, I was trying to come up with the voice for Megamondo. And he was intrigued. He was like, "Oh yeah, yeah. What'd you come up with?" And I was like, "Well, I took a little bit of you, and I mixed it with a little bit of Macho Man Randy Savage, and got it into Megamondo's voice." And he goes, "Because Megamondo, I'm gonna look you up on Instagram. I'm gonna look you up on Instagram." So who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll get lucky and maybe Enzo Amore versus Megamondo, or Enzo Amore and Megamondo versus another tag team. But that was a really cool moment for me, just getting an opportunity to thank somebody who has inspired me personally. If you get an opportunity to meet people that you look up to and inspire you, do it. Shake their hands, look them in the eyes, and tell them, because it lit Enzo up, man. He totally was into everything that I was saying, and it just made me feel good. Made me feel good that he cared. So, bada boom, realest guy in the room. How
Well,
you doing?
hopefully, if you get a chance to meet those people, they'll treat you like Enzo and not like JR.
Yeah, man, I feel bad about your picture with you and JR. I just I
It
get it.
looks photoshopped, doesn't
It
it?
it it does, and I get it. JR's had it pretty rough over the past decade. Um
But that's still no reason to just be an asshole. Like if you don't want to be there and you don't want to do conventions, then don't do them.
yeah, and we need to find out if the man is capable of smiling, because he takes a lot of pictures and he doesn't ever smile
He
in the
doesn't
pictures.
talk apparently or look at the camera either,
And he's one of the greatest voices in wrestling history.
you know. But
But man,
honestly, it'll be one of those things that years from now to look back on, I think, and be funny, you know.
yeah, and that's the thing about Squared Circle Expo, is it's all about making memories and having fun,
Yeah.
and you literally have no idea what is going to happen. So Peyton and I had a lot of fun, and shout out to everybody, with everybody saying shout out to everybody who came up to us, talked to us, because there were a lot of people that came up to our table throughout the Friday and Saturday. And I finally got to meet Kevin Deininger,
Mm.
one of the greatest Wells Mania fans of all time. Him and his daughter came up to me, and I finally got to meet him in person, which was really, really cool. Um, we mentioned this earlier. We said something about Eric Bischoff. Do you want to just go right into whatever the hell that was? We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but Eric Bischoff and Hollywood Hogan put out this cryptic NWO style teaser
Yeah.
um yesterday, and
Yeah.
it literally got the IWC and the internet going crazy, because they were talking about, we're back, brother, we're back, we're better than ever, and we're not alone, dude, we got a third man. And so of course all of us started speculating, well,
Like,
who the
what
hell
is
could this
this?
what is this, and who could this third man be? And of course, and I'll ask you, but my first initial thought went to, it's probably going to be, hey, it's Conrad Thompson. It's probably going to be a podcast, and Conrad Thompson's going to be the third man. I was wrong. What about you?
My initial thought was either podcast or some sort of new NWO merchandise line or something, or maybe like a spin-off of Real American Beer, but it's like NWO, like Hollywood themed beer, something along those lines. But we were both wrong.
Boy,
And
were we ever. We were
uh
nowhere near being right.
and I watched it today, the reveal of the third man, and I gotta be honest, I had no clue who the third man was, and it was very disappointing.
Yeah, the third man is Izzy Martinez. Izzy Martinez. And I still really have no idea who the hell Izzy Martinez is. Like, I guess he's a freestyle wrestler, coach, fighter, and he's going to be heading up this Real American Freestyle with Bischoff and Hogan, and apparently it'll feature single matches at 8 men's and 4 women's weight classes. And the first event is scheduled for August 30th in our favorite city, Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, we won't be there
Uh,
then.
no, we will not be there. Then I'm never going back to Cleveland. If I don't have to, I'm never doing it. So yeah, that's what this whole black and white new world order type vignette was. It was all for this Real American Freestyle, and of course, Hulk Hogan is going to be a part of this, and we'll see how it goes. I guess I'll try to follow and tune in. I don't really know much about freestyle wrestling. It's different, but
I
I
mean,
mean, I guess
is it by freestyle? Are you meaning like high school, college style wrestling? Is that what this is?
yeah, because the Izzy Martinez guy, he's I guess a really well-known wrestler in freestyle wrestling. So he's won championships and he's got a lot of clout when it comes to that. So we'll see, Payton. We'll see how it goes. But man, could have been so much more. I'm not saying that it's not going to be if that's your thing, but I think for a lot of us, old school NWO guys, we were kind of hoping that maybe this was going to be some sort of new world order takeover in the wrestling world, but I
If
don't know.
Hogan was smart, he would have done that because most people don't like him anyway. So just you make yourself a heel and run with the heat.
Yeah. We'll see. We will follow up as the year goes on, or we will forget all about it and move on. Something that is taking over the internet by storm. Peyton, you really wanted to talk about this. 100
The
men
Yeah,
versus one gorilla. This is a real thing,
the viral debate.
a viral debate. Some guy went on Twitter and just said, and I can't say what he said, so I'm going to use my own words. He said that he thinks that 100 men, if they all got their shit together and were on the same page, he thinks 100 men could beat one gorilla. And I'm just thinking, you are so wrong.
They're wrong.
One gorilla has the strength of more than 100 men.
So I'm an
Ooh.
animal. I'm an animal expert. All
And I'm a
right.
gorilla guy.
You're a gorilla guy. I'm an animal expert. I have studied it, zoology, all that stuff. I love it. Let me break this down as simply as possible.
Please do.
Okay. 100 men. Now, if you were talking like 100 zombified men that have no fear and like are willing to like destroy their own bodies, maybe. Okay. But 100 average men, no weapons. One, we don't have the strength with our hands or teeth to pierce a gorilla's flesh. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's immediately out of the question. Two, our bodies are very fragile. So the gorilla could literally just run through the horde of people and just go like this and break our bones, and we're immediately incapacitated. A fully grown silverback gorilla can lift 10 times its own body weight. You're talking about an animal that has the grip strength, okay, to crush a human skull with one hand. It can flip a family sedan with one arm. It would be a massacre. There would be 100 bodies surrounded, just broken in
Yeah.
pieces. It would run through and probably just start ripping people's arms off and beating the other people with them.
The only way that a gorilla would lose if for whatever reason it didn't want to fight. That's
Yeah.
the only way it would lose.
Or like I said, if the humans had no fear and dogpiled it all at once and got on top of it and just like crushed it to the point that it couldn't breathe, but that's not going to happen because humans are fearful creatures, and nobody out of that 100 people is gonna want to be the first guy in line.
And
So
the first few people in line, once you watch the gorilla rip them in half, everybody's taking off.
it's over.
Nobody's charging back at that
It's
gorilla.
it's over. So
Yeah.
it's a fun debate. I made a Jacob Vatu video, which was absolutely hilarious. By the way, go check that TikTok out. Um, I'm waiting for Megamondo to make a video on it.
Thought about possibly doing that. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe this weekend.
Now, could Megamondo take on a gorilla? He lived with them.
Absolutely. Megamondo was trained by the gorillas. So Megamondo knows what it takes to take down a gorilla. But here's the thing. I don't think Megamondo is going to reveal those jungle secrets because Megamondo doesn't want the 100 men to defeat his family.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Megamondo has seen some things in the jungle, Payton. Megamondo
I can
has
imagine.
seen a lot. And but yeah, you cannot damage a gorilla with your bare hands
It's not going
because
to happen.
gorillas have thick skin, very dense muscles. They're strong. I mean, they are one of, if not the strongest and most intelligent. Not only do they have strength, but they have intelligence too. I mean, they're a smart creature. I mean, they're the closest. I mean, when I say gorillas, I'm also, because chimpanzees are a whole nother.
Yeah.
You do the debate 100 men versus one chimpanzee, the chimpanzee's still going to win. Like
Now,
chimpanzees
that,
are
yeah.
vicious.
Oh, yeah. Now, that would be the debate. You know what? Let's throw that debate out. Humans don't stand a chance. Let's throw that debate out to the internet. How many chimpanzees would it take to bring down a fully grown silverback gorilla?
Oh, man.
That would be now that is a debate. How many? Because chimps are crazy.
Yeah.
Chimpanzees, in my opinion, are the scariest animal on the planet.
They are
fucking insane.
They're unpredictable. And even when you think you've got them trained, they're still going to rip you apart at any given moment.
They're crazy.
Remember that show with that lady who had the chimp?
Yes.
Yes. And then you heard about all the incidents of
Yes.
the people that thought they were, that's my son, that's my daughter, and then all of a sudden they're dead or their arms got ripped off.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind, if you're going to get involved with a chimp or a primate or a gorilla, you better make it quick and you better get the hell out while you can. Because it's only a matter of time before nature comes for you.
No, but 100 men versus one gorilla, my money's on the gorilla.
Yeah.
Debate over.
Every single time. Payton, I saw this, and this will be the last thing we talk about. I know we're trying so hard to do these episodes in under 1 hour, but we're just so entertaining, and we've got a lot to talk about that we're going to roll over that hour mark. But Chris Van Vliet, friend of the WellsMania podcast, Chris Van Vliet, threw this out on his Facebook earlier, and I thought this was kind of cool. It's called the 7 Wrestlers Theory. I've never seen this before. I didn't even know this was a thing. But there are 7 questions here, and I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to give you my answer. We'll go one at a time
Now
until we get to
all
7.
of them can't be John Cena. You have
Or
to
they
pick
can
7
or
different
they
wrestlers,
can. I
correct?
mean, no, it just you could potentially have. Now, I'm not going to have John Cena as all 7
And see,
of my answers, but
I
he
was
does
because
have quite a few here.
it says 7 wrestlers, so I'm picking 7 different people.
You can do it however you want. I'm just going off of how I feel, answering the question one question at a time. The first one, the one wrestler that made you fall in love with wrestling.
Stone Cold Steve Austin for
And
me.
see, and mine was Hulk Hogan. Uh
Well, because we come with 2 different generations, you know what I mean? You grew up on the Hogan era, I grew up on the Austin era, so that makes sense.
yeah, and that's another thing too is you show your age
Yeah.
with these questions because um people around my age, Hulk Hogan is going to be the most uh popular answer.
Mhm.
People around your age, it will more than likely be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Question number 2, your newest favorite wrestler.
Gunther. I've said it time and time again. Gunther is pound for pound the best wrestler in the world. I love watching him work. He's one of the best heels in the industry today. So I don't think his potential has even been close to being tapped yet. So Gunther is my newest favorite.
I like that one. I know you're a big Gunther guy. Now, this one, not John Cena. Another not John Cena answer here. I had to really think about this because I was like, who have I liked recently? And a couple names have come to mind: Austin Theory and L.A. Knight. Yeah. Uh, I would say those two guys are my newest favorite wrestlers. And eventually, after 2025, I never thought this day would come, but somebody is going to be the heir to the John Cena throne. And we shall see who my favorite wrestler after John Cena retires is going to be. That is something that I need to really start thinking about. Question number 3, the one wrestler that always makes you smile.
The guy that no matter, what kind of promo he cuts, he always makes me laugh, and laughter leads the smiles, whether it be currently or back then. I got to go The Rock. The Rock, you can't help but just laugh or smile when he's out there in the ring talking about slapping the herpes off people's lips or whatever he's talking about. The man is just made to make people smile. So I got to go The Rock.
And The Rock has a contagious smile.
Yes.
He's got a great smile. When you see The Rock smile, yeah, you're right. You can't help but smile as well. Mine, easy, John Cena. Number 4, who is your comfort wrestler?
Kane. This one's Kane for me. If I want to sit down and just watch some clips, watch some matches, it's got to be the Big Red Machine. He is
It's
and
gotta
always
be. That's
yeah,
gotta be Kane.
he is and always will be my comfort wrestler.
My comfort wrestler is John Cena. Question number 5, the one wrestler you miss the most. Now, I take this as a wrestler who has passed away that you just absolutely wish that they were still here.
See, I took it as a wrestler, either that or one that does not wrestle anymore that you wish would still be around in their prime. That's kind of the route I went with it. And the one that I miss the most seeing every week is The Undertaker. Seeing the Phenom, hearing that gong go off, watching his WrestleMania entrances, wondering every year, who's going to be the next to fall to the streak. That era was just special with the dead man. But I am so happy that I got to live through it. So I miss the Phenom the most on a regular basis.
What about a wrestler who has passed away that you wish was still alive?
Mm. I mean, you could go recent. You could say somebody like Bray Wyatt, um, but I'm gonna pull an older card here. I think if you're gonna go that route, probably Eddie. I
Yeah,
think Eddie
good one.
Guerrero uh is somebody that you would love to see in this day and age, like working with Dominic, you
Oh,
know,
without a doubt.
like how would that fit, Dirty Dom with Eddie or coming back and maybe doing one more thing with Ray. So I would have to say Eddie in that regard.
I went the wrestler who's passed away that I wish was still here, the Ultimate Warrior. I never got an opportunity to meet the Ultimate Warrior. And WWE Human Encyclopedia Jared Giles actually broke this news to me. I did not know. He said that the Warrior was lined up to do like conventions and meet and greets and really do that for the first. He had never really done that before, but he was heading that route of making show appearances and giving the fans an opportunity to meet one of their all-time favorites, or in my case, one of my childhood heroes. But I would love to have been given an opportunity to meet the Ultimate Warrior, and unfortunately I never was given that opportunity, and I will never be given that opportunity. And another person, Roddy Piper, the Hot Rod, because this past weekend I got Bret the Hitman Hart to sign my WrestleMania 8 poster. It will forever be incomplete because I'll never be able to get Hot Rod to sign the other half of the poster. But the fact that I got Bret to sign that poster, I will cherish that for the rest of my life. Question number 6, the one wrestler you'd protect with your whole life.
I gotta go, mommy. I gotta go, Rhea Ripley.
I had a feeling you were going to say her.
Look, if I have to, jump in front of a bus, to maybe get some mouth to mouth resuscitation,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
it.
We'll just leave it at that. Um,
What's the movie?
mine,
What's the movie where the kid fakes drowning?
The Sandlot.
Yeah, that'll
You'd
be
you,
me.
you'd pull a Squints and Wendy Peppercorn,
Yeah,
and then you end up kissing her, and she'd look at you, and she goes, "You little pervert." Great movie, great movie. The Sandlot never gets old. It's one of my all-time favorites. Uh, Ashley and I actually met Squints, Smalls, and yeah, last year. So that was pretty cool. We got to watch the movie with them at this theater up in West Lafayette. It was a really fun experience. The one wrestler that I'd protect with my whole life, I've been doing it pretty much my whole adult life, and that is John Cena. But I also protect Hulk Hogan too. Hulk Hogan gets so much hate, and I keep reminding people you don't have to hate Hulk Hogan. I get it if you don't like Terry Bollea. I get it, whatever. But you don't have to hate Hulk Hogan.
yeah. And can I just say real quick? I've learned that the people that hate on guy, and I'll throw another one out there, a more real one, if we're allowed. Like, I feel like Kane, I'd protect Kane with everything I got constantly
Yep.
too, because for the same kind of reasons in that political realm. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, we know what his political beliefs are, so f and whatever, f off. That's my response to those people.
Yeah.
Um, but I've learned, and I know because I've caught these people doing it, like in my live streams and stuff, chatting with them. The people that will say like screw Hulk Hogan forever, F him, he's a racist, Trumper, whatever you want, whatever they want to say, and that cannot separate personal stuff from the entertainment aspect of the world. They're like, no, it's one and the same. These are the same people that right after arguing that about Hulk Hogan will then try to tell you that Chris Benoit should be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if you're not separating personal and entertainment with guys like Hogan, then why the fuck aren't you separating it with someone like Chris Benoit, who literally did the worst possible thing a human being can actually do in this world? Like, you cannot do anything worse than what he did. and you don't want to separate it for that?
I don't understand how people think. And the more I try, the more my brain hurts. So I stopped caring a long time ago on people justifying, well, it's okay if this person does it, but it's not okay if this person does it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't play those games. Wrong is wrong, right is right.
Yeah.
And
Now, I don't think anybody's denying. We all know Hulk Hogan is an egomaniac, and he has definitely politicked his way into getting things in his career. I don't think anybody's ever going to argue that point. We all know what happened at WrestleMania 9. Okay. But that doesn't change the fact that there would not be a world of professional wrestling without Hulk Hogan. So
exactly. The last question here, number 7, the 7 wrestlers theory. The one wrestler you are rooting for the most.
easy answer for me. TikTok. It's got to be Karrion Kross.
I
The
knew you were going to
man,
say him.
the man is a world champion. He deserves to be in the spotlight, and he's proving it to people. Finally, his merch sold out on WWEshop.com over WrestleMania weekend.
Did you buy it? Did you have a chance to get it?
I did not. I'm waiting for it to restock, but he got a huge pop when he made a cameo at WrestleMania. The crowd booed when he got eliminated from the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They want Kross to be one of the main stars in the company. He's winning people over because he's finally showing people that he is a talker and a great storyteller and one of the most underrated dudes in the world of pro wrestling. I am rooting with everything I got for Kross to take that spotlight.
We need to get Karrion Kross on a future episode of WellsMania podcast. He's shown interest in the
Yeah.
past, so
And he's such a good dude too.
yeah, oh yeah,
Like, he's such a nice, humble guy that literally will do anything for anybody. He's proven that, so like, good things should come to good people. So I just want to see him succeed.
same. I agree. I co-sign on that. Mine is obvious, and I don't care what you think out there. Well, you can't answer John Cena for everything. Watch me. I can and I will and I have, because I am embracing 2025, because I know that once midnight strikes and that ball drops heading into 2026, it's over. John Cena's in-ring wrestling career is over. So I am rooting for John Cena to do everything that he has ever wanted to do and more in the final however many months there are left in 2025. Hell, he's the reigning undisputed WWE champion in 2025. Who saw that coming? Not me, but I'm glad that I'm witnessing it. And speaking of witnessing it, you and we will be there in St. Louis, Missouri at the Enterprise Center, live for WWE Backlash one last time. John Cena versus Randy Orton. And I can't wait, Payton. And speaking of Backlash, next week, episode 175 of WellsMania podcast, not only will it be the WWE Backlash prediction show, but we will also be joined by a very special guest. She reached out to me and she asked if she could collab with me at WWE World, and she got busy. Everybody's busy. I get it. If we don't end up collabing, we'll do it somewhere down the line. Well, guess what, Payton? LA Night, yeah, girl. LA Night Girl. You know who LA Night Girl is on Instagram and TikTok.
I
Bree.
do. Yes.
She reached out to me and said that she would love to come on WellsMania podcast and run wild with us. So she will be our very special guest next episode, on episode 175 of WellsMania podcast. So if you are not familiar with who LA Night Girl is, this is an opportunity to get to know her, and we will have her on probably the whole episode. So she will give us her predictions for WWE Backlash. So looking forward to that. And Payton, we've had so many people reach out that want to come run wild with us on WellsMania podcast. And now that we are able to do video episodes, the possibilities are endless. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we already had tag team twinning on. Of course, we've had Jared Giles, the WWE Human Encyclopedia, the 5-foot giant Chris Engel. But now we're having other wrestling content creators want to come on the show. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to have LA Knight Girl on. I wonder who her comfort wrestler is. Yeah.
I would imagine it's not LA Knight.
No, it couldn't be LA Knight, right?
Mm-mm.
But yeah, we look forward to having Bree, aka LA Night Girl, on next episode of Wells Mania podcast. Payton, that's it. That's all we've got. This is another loaded episode of Wells Mania. Gave you a lot to run wild with. But before we go, anything else you want to get out there? And if not, go ahead and plug your social media.
No, I'm looking forward to running wild in St. Louis again. If you see us out there, come up and say hi. Feel free to make a TikTok with us. We'd be more than happy to do that. We'll be there again Friday and Saturday. It's going to be a fun weekend. Go and follow me on TikTok at Stone Payne Productions. I'm getting close to that 7K mark. We have a goal, 10K by the end of the year. I think both of us want to hit that goal. You said by SummerSlam. That would be amazing if we could pull it off. Stone Payne Productions on TikTok, Stone Payne Prod on X.
Yes. It would be great to get it by SummerSlam, but we at least got to hit it by the end of the year. Ride off into the sunset with John Cena to close out 2025. He enjoys retirement, and we both enjoy 10K followers and more. Well, Payton, as always, brother, thank you so much for running wild with me. I look forward to running wild with you again next week. Hey, be sure to follow me all over everywhere at WellsMania on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm really getting closer to 2,000 followers on Twitter, which has been a big goal of mine for what seems like forever. But thank you for listening to WellsMania podcast, whether it be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and also on YouTube. WellsMania is running wild on YouTube. We are as raw as ever because I told Payton that old Spotify hit a bunch of WellsMania episodes with the old third party copyright infringement. I can't help it that I like you using music and getting people hyped, and I'm helping promote your music on my show.
You got to get your own custom theme.
And I don't make any money off this. I'm not making any money off doing Wells Mania podcast. This is all from the bottom of my heart. I do this because I love to do it. Now, I would like to make money one day, coming soon. Yeah. So if there's any musicians or artists out there who want to put together, it doesn't have to be you don't have to write me a long song. Just give me a fun, upbeat, you're running wild with Wells Mania type intro to the show, and we'll give you a shout out every single episode. It's nice marketing. I mean, Payton and I know what we're doing, and we do it well. Look at this, Payton. Did you see this?
Mm-hmm.
The Wells Mania podcast. This is an embroidered logo. Shout out to Casey Custom Apparel. So Wells Mania merch in hand is a lot. It's coming sooner than expected. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be. But you can go to brainbustertees.com and you can buy all the Wells Mania merch on there. And you can book me on Cameo. Book Megamondo and I on Cameo. A lot of people seem to love doing that. But until next episode, stay positive, take care, run wild, and dominate the day.